Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a special bonus reading for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Gemini, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the link to my Buy Me a Coffee services and donations website, to my Instagram and TikTok are all found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. So Gemini, I hope you're doing well. These are all about the dream messages from your spirit guides, like what your spirit guides want to tell you through your dreams, or what they're trying to tell you now. And I got to tell you right now that your spirit guides have come in. They're like on like the left side. I feel a tunneling in my ear. Very, very strongly, actually. Going to be using 3 decks for your reading today. The Oracle of the Universe, the Human Spirit Oracle, and the Tarot of the Divine. Cards have been pre-shuffled. This is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. This is for Gemini. Overall energy. You got 2, Gemini. You got 2. Number 39, which reduces to an 11, corresponding to the Justice card in the Major Arcana. That's Libra energy. Talks about karmic balance, karmic justice, values, standards. And the card is Life of the Party. Life of the Party. It feels like a very Gemini energy. And number 37, which reduces to a 10, the Wheel of Fortune card, Jupiterian energy. It's the card of good luck, good fortune, and divine timing. Count your chickens. Count your chickens. So this is really just like a interesting set of cards. The pairing is strange to me, but now I'm seeing like that, the egg shape here. Something hatching. It's almost like I want to pop these balloons and see what comes out. It's almost like there are messages in those balloons. I'm not entirely familiar with if the count your chickens is like an expression, but to me it kind of seems like we're taking stock of things, like count your chickens at the end of the night, because in the morning you're not sure if the fox will have gotten to them. Count your chickens. So there's a little bit of a perceived kind of, I don't want to say threat, because it's not it's a perceived threat. It doesn't necessarily mean it's an actual threat. But this place of, there's something that you are grappling with right now that might be causing some anxiety within you. Like even this, right? Yes, life of the party, but I'm pointing at you. I'm isolating you out. My attention is being drawn to you. Right, so it's almost like people are looking at how many chickens you have. So there's something about like your wealth or your status. Your wealth or your status. I mean, maybe you've come into some good fortune lately with the karmic justice, the justice card. Like you could have come into some kind of inheritance. And now people are looking at you. Almost like you have amassed an abundance of something. You have a key there. It's like somehow, even just the expressions now on their faces, very direct. Not all the cards look like this. Very direct focus on Gemini. All eyes on Gemini. I mean, and in another sense, you're the total life of the party, and maybe you like that attention, right? But there's something here that you're cautious about. I feel caution. So I don't know if you are having dreams about these situations where people are looking at you. Have you ever had dreams like that? I certainly have. Not necessarily the ones where you're like naked and you're in class and you're like in front of the class and you have to give a presentation, although you could be having dreams like that. But there could be, it's like Spirit's giving me that scene from the movie Inception, Christopher Nolan film, amazing film, where, God, I can't remember. Man, I've seen that movie so many times I can't remember the characters' names, but like, then Ellen Page, Leonardo DiCaprio, now Elliot Page. They were like walking through one of the dream states, right? They were literally walking through the subconscious, and he was kind of telling her that she was aware of the surroundings, but the more aware she became, the construct of the dream would collapse around her. And so they're walking through the streets of a Paris-like city. Then all of a sudden, everyone in the dream turns and faces her, almost like she was a kind of toxin. Like when the white blood cells in your body go after the bacteria or whatever it is, they like attack it, they like focus in on it. So this is very specific, but this is what Spirit is giving me right now. There's this, not calling you a bacteria or anything like that, nothing of the sort, but it's more about, excuse me, there's this like frog in my throat now. I'm gonna hold on to some lapis lazuli. There's some awareness of you, and now people are drawing their attention. So it could be making you feel a little bit self-conscious. That could be showing up in your dreams. The first card out is a Libra card. The number is 7, which is Cancer energy, the Chariot, and the Major Arcana. But the first card out is Balance. It's amazing. 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for Clarifier. This is a general reading having to do with the dream messages from your guides. So no past, present, and future. Just a message. Thoroughly shuffle these cards. And 2 of the 3 base cards Libra also got. Gemini was heavily a prominent focus in the Libra energy, in the Libra reading. So you may be dealing with a Libra. You could be the Gemini that the Libras were dealing with in their reading. 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for Clarifier. One more. Okay. Number 7, the Libra constellation, Balance. So we talked about karmic balance, justice, values, the standards that we uphold, that we live by, standards that create our identity. It's what standards do. They keep us kind of confined within a set of rules. You can see here, what does she have in the scales? This is like a brain, and this is an anatomical heart. Head over heart, heart over head. Needing a balance between the two. That could be a theme for you right now, Gemini, where you are, you know, actually this has been a theme for Geminis, I want to say for the past few months through my readings, which is that the Gemini is really trying to explore their emotional landscape. Because you got the thinking thing down. That you know how to do. But there's a curiosity within you to look at your own emotional landscape. And I think you're trying to navigate it. The Two of Cups in reverse here, that further clarifies it for me. Two of Cups can talk about divine partnership, high-level commitment, two equals coming together. But what it speaks of in your reading is the connection between you and your soul, you and your higher self. The card is in reverse, so kind of tells me that this is something you're exploring, like even the thought that you have a soul, like that a human being would have a soul, not that you in particular. But I think it might be something that's coming to the fore. Like there's this part of you that is otherworldly, off-world in some way. But you're trying to bridge the gap. Well, how do we do that? It starts with mind, heart, sync. Things coming together. Things working in tandem. So if you have to make a big decision in your life, it's not just, well, my heart tells me that I need to move to Chicago, or my head tells me that Chicago is a practical approach. It's more about, I really feel strongly about moving to Chicago, and I'm satisfied by the benefits that, the pros outweigh the cons, and coming to that decision with both your head and your heart, and hopefully your intuition all together. And then when we just operate in daily life, in every moment of daily life, listening to ourselves, that's when a card like this is in the upright, because we're connected. Let's get a clarifier. Ace of Swords in reverse. So yeah, it makes sense, because aces bring new energy from spirit, the potentiality of the suit. The sword suit is your suit. Air element, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Epiphany, this represents epiphany, breakthrough, cutting through all the mess and the tangledness. It's truth, it's fact, it's illumination. But you got the card in reverse. So it's kind of like telling me that you're working on it, but you're not in the position to truly receive the message yet. Or at least to know what to do with it when you get it. Even if I was God on high and I said, Gemini, you have a soul. I mean, I could see a Gemini being like, fantastic. What does that mean? Fantastic. How is that useful to me? Right? Like, you're not rejecting anything, because Gemini has this beautiful ability to kind of give everything a chance. But at the same time, there's a very important Gemini in my worldview that I'm thinking of right now. My twin flame is a Gemini, and this is exactly what he would say. He would say, I have a soul, fantastic. Now what? What do I do with it? So, meanwhile, me over here, it's like, oh, I definitely have a soul, and her name is Lavender. She told me once in a guided meditation. That's all true. She told me once in a guided meditation, right? So this is your kind of quandary here. not not unwilling to hold the sword of truth, but just not really knowing what to do with it when it's in your hand. Why, number 20, Judgment card referenced here in the Major Arcana, Cetus constellation, fear. It's clarified by the Five of Wands. It's like a lot of fear, a lot of conflict, a lot of chaos. It's like, if we're just using this as an example, but if we're going with the soul theme, Gemini has now just discovered they have a soul, or they're acknowledging or accepting that they have a soul. There's this like, oh my God, like, what does that even mean? And then the enormity of it, the enormity of that is like almost too much for your brain to handle, because you're now exploring the realm of possibility of what that means about our existence, our universe, your role in it. And then kind of having to deal with the day-to-day drudgery of life. And not everybody has a drudgery of life, but sometimes life can be a little drudgery. Just the bills and the responsibilities and the nagging and the people complaining and you complaining and the whole thing. How could I possibly think about what my soul wants to do in this life when I have to deal with like rush hour traffic? And yet, can't the Gemini fluctuate between spaces? Isn't that what you're known for? Beautifully just transitioning to and fro, back and forth. Let's get a clarifier. What's this fear? Four of Wands in the... Oy. Okay, lots of cards came out. 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana cards and a minor arcana card. The Four of Wands in the reverse. Four of Wands actually is funny. It's a twin flame energy. It's the 1111 card. A portal to happiness. That's how Four of Wands is often looked at. A firm foundation, a portal to happiness. It's in reverse for you. You got the Hanged Man, the Judgment, the Star, and the Chariot. To clarify, this is crazy. Major Arcana, this is very divinely guided. It's almost as if, oh, you better believe you have a soul, Gemini. You better believe you have a soul, and you better believe that your soul has plans for you. No matter how old you are or how young you are. The Chariot, number 7 of the Major Arcana, right? You got, here's 2 sevens. Cancer energy. Victory. This mastery over the light and dark aspects of ourselves. Like, really charging forward. The Star card, Aquarius energy, number 17. Wish fulfillment, healing, looking up at the sky, realizing that somebody is listening. Number 20. Here we are, 2020. Anytime I see 2020 in a reading, I think 2020 vision. Seeing clearly. Right? The clouds parting, the sun coming through, our path being illuminated. That's all about the Judgment energy. And the Hanged Man, number 12, the Major Arcana, Virgo and Pisces, needing a change of perspective. She's hanging upside down. She just needs to change her worldview for just a second. They're showing me the movie Inception again, and they're kind of showing me that same scene. the first time they go into the subconscious world, in the fake Paris or whatever of her construct, there's a moment where, you know, they're walking along the street, and all of a sudden the street becomes absolutely vertical, like you're in a city, and the city just turned into a box. And so they're walking, and then they're walking up this way. So it's almost like they're walking up a wall, but then their orientation changes. It's hard to describe it if you've never seen the movie. Highly, highly recommend. And they're showing me that scene to describe this card. It's like, we don't want to limit ourselves. We don't want to put like self-imposed boundaries. This is not the time for that. This is the time for expansion. Right? So now I'm kind of seeing it. It's like two sides of you. Life of the party. I just want to be footloose and fancy free. And then count your chickens. But like, I have to do my taxes. You know? I have a friend. She is a Capricorn, so most likely she will not be watching this reading, so I feel like I could tell the story. She was in a restaurant once, and a very, very famous musician sat across from her. This was in New York City. So when you live in New York, because I used to live in New York, you just run into people. You see famous people everywhere. They live there. But you have to be chill with famous people. Like, you can't act like a fangirl or a fanboy. Like, you have to be chill. But this very, very, very famous musician sat down across from her. She was just eating her lunch by herself. I don't know, reading the newspaper or something. This was a long time ago. And he, you know, she's a very beautiful friend of mine. And he got to talking with her. She had no idea who he was. No idea. She's a Capricorn. No idea. And he said, you know, I have to go. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I was wondering, you know, I'm playing a gig tonight. I was wondering if you would come and watch. And she literally said to him, I'm sorry, I can't. I have to do my taxes. Eventually, they started dating. I can't tell you who that person was, but what I can tell you was that the gig that he had was his appearance on, what was it called? The Late Show with David Letterman, the talk show. Like a Jimmy Fallon or like a whatever, Seth Meyers or whatever. Like, he was going on that evening. Like, he left the restaurant and went to the studio and performed. They eventually dated and eventually broke up, but it was just kind of like hilarious. Because that's just so my friend, and I love her to bits. But like, hey, come party with me. Sorry, I have to do my taxes. So that could be you right now, Gemini, of two minds. Wanting to be footloose and fancy free. Wanting to be practical. Maybe not wanting to be practical. Having to be practical. Feeling like you have to be. Yeah, maybe so. Number 13. The Andromeda constellation. Andromeda galaxy. Sacrifice. Number 13 relates to the death card of the major arcana. Scorpio energy. Endings bringing new beginnings. And there's some part of you here that stands very tall and knows that you've had to let go of some moments like this where you couldn't go to the party because there's a part of you that has been building. You're trying to build something. You're trying to build something stable for yourself. It hasn't been stable for you, and so you're just trying your best to work hard on it. Right? Queen of Cups in reverse, to clarify that. That's Cancer energy. Queen of Cups is very loving, giving, generous, compassionate. Whenever the Queen of Cups is in the reverse, it always indicates to me self-care. You're focusing on you right now. And people could be looking. You know, I'm not getting... There's something about the looking. All eyes on Gemini. Let's get a word of advice from Spirit. Page of Coins in the reverse. Oh, this light just, it's getting dark here, and this light just popped on across the street. It's like epiphany, like light bulb moment. Right? This feels like a light over her head. Page of Coins or Page of Pentacles is somebody who takes a small but significant step in whatever direction. With the Pentacles or Coins energy, it's like a real world step. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna start thinking about that new business idea. I'm just gonna think about it for a while. Page of Coins would be like having a business lunch with somebody and picking their brain about what to write in your business proposal. Right? It's a small but significant step. It's like, maybe it's not even lunch, it's coffee. Maybe it's not even coffee, it's an email. But it's something. But the card is in reverse, and Spirit is saying there's this hesitancy to take a step forward from you right now. I think you're just taking stock of things. There's part of you that knows that something is about to change. And just before it changes, I feel as though you're trying to get your bearings. Because eventually Spirit's going to hand you this sword. They're going to give you something to think about. And it's almost like you should be ready for it. Now I hear that Taylor Swift, are you ready for it? That's your reading, Gemini. Thank you so much for being here. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Gem.